Good day everyone, this is Patrick from EasyFX Code Trading System, and it's Sunday the 19th of January 2020, and this is the weekly analysis for Euro, Cable and Aussie dollar for the third week of January. Let's kick off with the Euro dollar, and after a rebound earlier in the week to bouncing off the 55 daily 55 EMA and the lower channel trend line, and after getting rejected at the daily 200 EMA as well as the monthly pivot, the euro has fallen through both the 55 EMA and the lower channel trend line, as well as a key round figure at 111, and that was on Friday. And that was a fairly bearish move on Friday. So this is a significant break, and it could be a follow through later this week as it attempts to retest the next support level. I may need to readjust this to align with the swing lows here, and we can mark this as a resistance now. If this is a real break, we should see a retest earlier in the week. It could be all the way back up to the lower channel trend line and maybe perhaps the 50% fib level before it resumes its bearish bias. And if this level breaks at a 110.70 area, 60 to 70 area, then there could be a further fall right down to the 78.6 fib retracement level at a 110.36. So we'll see how that develops over the week as we move into Thursday, where the ECB is set to announce their rate and monetary policy decision, and this will be the second key meeting chaired by Christine Lagarde, and we'll see what new news to develop from there. Also is some economic news on Tuesday with the Eurozone ZEW sentiment, as well as the German ZEW economic sentiment. And then on Friday there is some flash manufacturing and services PMIs. So we'll see how that affects the euro for next week. But for now, it's short-term bearish as we look at the weekly time frame, and that looks like a shooting star here, and which could mean a further fall for this week. Let's also take a look at the 4-hour time frame. This was where the intermediate resistance level was during our midweek analysis, and it attempted to break out higher, but strong rejection by the bears and fell all the way through. All right, so it could also have been exacerbated by the UK news on Friday with poor retail sales figures, and we'll see what the new weekly pivot is for next week. All right, let's switch back to the daily, and let's take a look at the cable now. So on the cable, it has also been recovering somewhat from the start of the week with support from the daily 55 EMA and this rising trend line. But after spiking through the weekly pivot as well as the 131 round figure level, cable retreated on Friday with very poor UK retail sales figures, and we can take a look on the weekly time frame how this looks like, and it's also a large spinning top. So it has fallen all the way back down to from the 131 back down to 130 round figure, and sitting right at this key support zone. It needs to break down further from the 55 EMA and this rising trend line. So there should be a confluence here, probably around the 129.80 level. Let's take a look at the 4-hour time frame. So this was the intermediate resistance zone for midweek analysis, where the 55 and the 200 EMAs were bunched together. However, it did manage to climb up higher first and then fell through, coming back towards the 130 area. So this is going to be a key level of support around the 129, let's call it 70 to 80 zone. And if that support holds, then it could consolidate further for this coming week. Or if it does break, then it could target this previous swing low, heading towards the 129.00 level. So move back to the daily time frame. Right, so this was where the previous swing low is at 129.05. Right, so we need to watch out for this level if it does get down that far. So for the UK as well, there's a couple of key news with the UK jobs report, unemployment on Tuesday, and on Friday, similar to the Eurozone, there's also flash manufacturing and services PMIs. Alright, so watch out for this critical zone this coming week, and we'll see what the new pivot levels are. And let's also go back to this intermediate resistance, and we should probably move this up to the 131 level where it was rejected. Alright, let's move on to the Aussie dollar. And similar structure as the euro and cable. Was a lot of back and forth consolidation for the start of the week, and then a decisive bearish move on the Friday after the US and China had signed the phase 1 deal on Wednesday. So that was the bounce off the daily 55 EMA to test this previous swing high and close to the monthly pivot, and then after that it has pulled back, retraced lower, and fell back to the 78.6 fib retracement level and heading towards another area of support right near the rising trend line as well, and it's starting to dip below the daily 55 EMA. So this is clearly a key resistance zone now with the at the 0.6900 level, along with the daily 200 EMA. So we could probably move this lower. Right, let's take a look on the 4-hour time frame. And price has fallen below the 200 period EMA, below the 0.6900 level, and it's going to retest this rising trend line and this support zone at 0.6860 to 70 zone. Okay, and we'll see what the new pivots are for next week. Let's go back to the daily time frame, and if this support does break, then it's looking to retest this swing lows here at 0.6850. Right, the only news for Australia this coming week is on Thursday with the employment report, and that could impact whether it's going to find support or whether it's going to dip lower, perhaps down towards the 62 fib retracement level. So we'll see after the short-term boost from the phase 1 deal. I think now it's the next key news to look out for is at the beginning of February, where the RBA will be announcing their rate decision. So we'll see whether the rate cut is going to materialize. All right, so there won't be any weekly analysis next Sunday, as it's going to be the Lunar New Year holidays for Southeast Asia and China, of course. And I will also follow up midweek on Wednesday. And do check out my other videos on spot gold and dollar yen, as well as the Ichimoku analysis. And meanwhile, have a good trading week then, and cheers.